Today is all about emotional intelligence, and I want to start by explaining and defining it and talking about why it's important. Emotional intelligence simply refers to the ability for you as a parent or anyone to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions effectively, as well as understand the emotions of others. Now, when we talk about others, because we are talking parenting, it simply means your children. Understanding your emotions, managing it, and understanding your children's emotions and managing it. Because for everything we do, our emotions are at the roots, at the bottom of it. So if we understand our emotions and we're able to manage it appropriately, then we are likely going to be able to actually do what we intend to do. Because it's one thing to actually have intention. Sorry. It's one thing to want to do something, to have an intention. Is another thing to actually carry out that intention. Because many times what we do as parents is that we have an intention, but another thing we do is just something else that is contrary to it. And why is because we are not managing our emotions appropriately. Our emotions are jumping in the way. For example, this is where your intention, is to correct a child, but you end up hitting the child. Sorry, someone is sending the message. Oh, sorry about that, ma. Sorry about that. Sorry, ma. So recently, today, not just recently, today, I was on Facebook and I saw something. I didn't even know the person till now. Jenny's Glow, something like that. She's into skincare and cosmetic. And somebody called her out that, oh, she sells fake products and all and all. And she went ahead to arrest the person, to get the police to arrest the person. And at the end of the day, the matter has so escalated that her offices, both in Abuja and in Lagos, had closed down. And then I saw a video of her ranting, saying people are saying she should be mature, she should keep quiet. Why would she be mature or keep quiet when people are dragging her influencers, people are trying to rubbish her brand? Eventually, what has she done? She was trying to protect her brand. Now, she has even gotten her brand into more problem. Many other people are coming out to say, oh, her product actually destroyed their skins and all of that. And that was not her intention. Was it not just to smear her image? She has built over a period of time. But because she wasn't emotionally intelligent to handle it enough, she's landed herself in trouble. I also remember the story of a father. We shared it in the group a while ago, of a father who slapped the son, and the children's friend were there, and they went to report this. They record emergency number, and the 16-year-old boy was taken away from the man. It's such a heartbreaking situation, because I know that from what I hear, from everything I hear, no father, no Nigeria father in his right senses who wants social welfare or security, social welfare to actually take their children. If you look at it, what the man wants for his son is to grow up to be a responsible person. But because he wasn't emotionally intelligent enough to align his action with his intention, he has ended up pushing the child further into what he never wanted or he did not want. So emotional intelligence is very important in parenting. We cannot even take it away. We cannot take it away. When we are not intelligent emotionally, we behave randomly. We act randomly. Someone is saying, oh, unable to join. Oh, sorry, my network. We act randomly. And one thing we always start our class with in this Visionary Parent Academy, I didn't go into that because we already have done that, is for us to create a vision. You create your parenting vision. You actually sit down and ask yourself, what do I want? What kind of child do I want to raise? It is very important. What kind of child do I want to raise? You have that spelled out. I want to raise so and so child. I want to raise so and so child. Okay, how will I be able to raise my child? And you make sure that every step of the way, you are actually intentional about it, doing something that Someone said, if God wants to say amen to your parenting, what will he come and meet you and say amen to? Something like that. So we are very intentional about it, and we need to have control over our emotions to be able to be intentional. That is the simple truth. If you don't have control over emotions, you realize that you are just parenting randomly. You are not able to align your intentions, your actions with your intentions. So you now realize that, okay, you actually have this in mind, but you are doing a different thing entirely. So emotional intelligence is very key. Like I said, it's understanding our emotions and also able to understanding our emotion and also being able to manage our emotions, as well as understanding the emotions of people around us. And when it comes to parenting our children now, because just the same way our emotions are our emotions are the root causes of our behaviors, the same thing happens to them. Their emotions also influence their behaviors. Now, recently, since we moved there, I just realized that it's been a lot. It has been a lot. We came in, I didn't expect half of the things I met. For example, I expected to have met, I had in mind that, come into a clean house, because we've had people to clean it. We had a professional cleaner to clean everywhere for us the first time. We had one security man, Aboke, around to clean again the second time. So I had in mind that I would just come and everything is settled. I'll just drop my bag, cross my legs, and that is it. Sorry, so then Friday or Saturday? I thought today was Thursday. Okay, so that was what I had in mind. But we got here, it is a different ball game altogether. Coupled with the fact that the change of environment has kind of affected me. I think I have a sore throat, I have a runny nose, and then I'm looking for schools. I'm just trying to just acclimatize and all of that. It has really been overwhelming for me. And then my daughter and her best friend back in Lagos, they were chatting the other day. And when they were done, I went through her message and I realized that it has also been overwhelming for them, even though they are so excited because they have bigger place to, they have bigger space to play, and they just absolutely love what we have here. It is still overwhelming for them. They are also wondering about the new school they are going to go, making friends, how they are going to go about things. I know that. So, and because of that, these days they have been bickering more. They have been more cranky. They have been more bickering. For example, they were supposed to be in my room because whenever their dad is not around, they like to sleep in my room or my bed. So they came to my room and I just told them, even me, I'm pressured. Please let everybody just, let's be each other's support. If you bicker, I'm going to send you away. And they actually bickered and I sent them away to their room. So hopefully after this class, I'm going to send them back. One of the reasons I actually sent them was so that I can finish my class and have them come back. This is it. Even all the pressure, they are also pressure. They are also feeling everything I am feeling. They're also having that emotions I'm having. Something like, I hope I made the right decision. I hope I'm going to be able to cope and adjust here. How am I going to get alternative to light, network and all of that? All those things are actually impacting on my emotions. They are also impacting on their emotions. So if you as a parent now understand, okay, this is the emotions your child is feeling, this is what your child is feeling, the emotions they are feeling, then it's easier for you to actually cut them some slack. Now, this is why it's important for us to understand our emotions, or to be emotionally intelligent as parents, so that we can actually, like I always say, align our parenting choices with our vision. At the same time, be able to empathize with our children, empathize with them, and bring out the best in them. Empathize with them, create an environment that actually promotes a healthy relationship with them and everything. So, and another thing about understanding your emotions is that when you understand emotions, you are likely able to regulate your emotions. That way, you are also modeling the emotional regulations to your children, which is very important, because in the long run, major decisions they are going to take, it is also going to be a reflection of their emotions. So when you are able to model healthy emotional regulations to them, you can rest believing that, okay, they are likely going to make good choices. Now, one thing that happens is, it's not just able to, one of the things that helps us actually understand our emotions, which we are going to deal with in this class, is that information matters, knowledge matters a great deal. If you've read the book, the first book we read, Emotional Intelligence by what's this man's name again? I've forgotten. You realize that it is basically equipping yourself with knowledge, understanding how you feel, what you feel, why you feel. If you understand these basic information, and apart from that, understanding the proper thing, it is going to help you do the proper thing. You understand the proper thing. For example, I was in a group earlier on, and the parent asked, am I wrong to demand neatness? Something like that. I don't remember how the question was actually asked, but what she meant was, her house is always untidy, scattered, and she is always on her toes fixing her house, and she comes back and the house is always untidy. Someone asked her, how old are your kids? She said 6 and 2 years old. So now, no matter how emotionally intelligent you are as a parent, if you don't know what it is supposed to be, you may not even know, you may be over expecting from your children, from yourself. You will not even know what it is. Now, this is why it is not just about understanding, this particular thing is actually trigger me. You want to understand exactly why they happen the way they happen. You want to understand if for children, if they are normal, if they are misbehaviors, what is responsible for them. That way, you can calmly, you are able to fix them. So it's one thing to understand your emotions, your child emotions. Another thing to actually know what is proper, what is normal, what you should actually expect. That's the word I'm looking for. Another thing to know what you actually expect. Now, this is why in our emotions control class, we're not just going to talk about emotions. We are going to talk about, as a parent, how you where your emotions come from. We are going to talk about that. Why you act the way you act. We are going to talk about that. Talking about your nurture, talking about your temperament, talking about stress. Like I was just describing my situation a while ago. You may need to watch this video again, because I actually talked about my children also. Being not really that they are pressured, because they are really excited about our new environment and everything, but transitioning is actually is kind of overwhelming to them. We have never moved before. We got into a place before we started having them, and that's the place we have lived. And now we are living all the way from Lagos, about 6 hours drive to a new place, and we are going about looking for schools. Even though they are excited, everything is just like, overwhelming to them. And then my daughter's best friend back in Lagos has a birthday party that my daughter has, so I think she'll be 10. My daughter has promised to be there. So the girl sent my daughter a message like, are you really relocating for real? Are you coming for my party? I really would love to have you in my party. And that my daughter sent her that, we really have moved, but I really am so sad. I cannot come. I've missed you and all of that. It simply means that even though they are excited, they are just kind of overwhelmed too with the whole thing. The same way I'm feeling. Like I shared earlier on, that thing has impacted on their emotions. They bicker more, they are rivalry more, they are cranky more. Everything is just kind of overwhelming for everyone, for me. So because I understand that, I'm able to be more tolerant. Initially, I wasn't even tolerant. Like I just realized that I was just snappy, or I snap or I ignore. I was ignoring, not even snappy, I was ignoring more than I was snappy. I was always ignoring, because my daughter, she can be like, she can ask them one questions, I just realized I was just ignoring more, until I shared on Facebook the other day, my son was putting something in the freezer and it just dropped from his hand. And quickly he looked up and he was explaining, and I was like, where did this come from? This is not our style. They do things, and mistake is a normal part of mistake is just normal, because I know that they are bound. So I always tell them, learn from your mistakes. So When I started explaining immediately, I just knew that, okay, I definitely have been doing something not right. So even me, I have been under pressure. Let me say burnout. I've had burnout lately. So that's another thing where your emotions come from. You are pressured, you are stressed, you are burnt out, where emotions come from, where your factors that will make you emotionally unintelligent, really. So these are the things we are going to look at in our class. Hopefully, we'll be able to complete it this month. That's my plan. We'll just can combine, since we already have the foundation, it's not something new. We can just, I wish network was really good. My intention was for us to discuss them. So I wish network was really good. My intention was for us to discuss them because we already have the foundation. So because network is not so good today, hopefully next week we are going to take two of them together. Maybe we'll take nature and the nurture together. And the last day of the month, we are going to take, like I said, be informed, where you are aware of your children's emotions also. It helps you to get a hold of your emotion or get a handle of your emotion. So we are going to look at factors that trigger you as a parent and factors that actually make children misbehave. So we'll just look at them together and wrap it up this week, this month, so that next month we can focus. I really want everyone to create their parenting framework next month. If you have not created yours, I want us to just create it deliberately, create it together. Just create it one by one, one by one, one by one. I want that'll be my biggest achievement. If at the end of this year, everyone has their parenting framework, I'll be very, very glad. So now this is why I want also create that in October. Create that in October. That's basically it. Okay, please let me hear your contribution so far. You didn't, sorry, network kept taking me back and forth. I actually went to my bathroom and I'm back to my bed again. And it's crazy how network keeps taking me back and forth. So what I've been sharing is I've shared what it means to be emotionally intelligent. I've shared why we actually need to be emotionally intelligent. I've shared factors that actually make us not to be emotionally intelligent. And like I said, we are going to look at these factors during the course of this month. We are going to look at them in groups because they are not new to us. They are something we already are used to. So we are going to look at two together next week, Thursday. We'll look at the remaining two together. We'll look at two together the other week, Thursday, and we'll wrap it up. Then next month, we create our parenting framework. I want everybody to have theirs so that we have something to hold on to at the end of the year. I'm waiting, ma'am. Like I said, it's supposed to be a discussion class, but because of this network taking us back and forth, that has been my issue. Okay, anyone, did you hear anything I said, or would you want to add and ask anything, or?
No, I really didn't. I came in late and you were going up and down, so I really didn't follow.
Oh, so sorry, ma. I hope I can share this in the YouTube. I've not been there because of I've not been there because of a whole lot. A whole lot. I've not been there. Hopefully next week when they go back to school, I can go back. I still have some pending topics on academic sources, like motivation, academic motivation, learning style, and all of that. But it's been so overwhelming for me. So okay, like I said,
You move now. You just moved. So it's
yes,
okay.
yes,
I said you just moved.
yes,
So it's
ma.
okay.
Yeah, thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. By next week, hopefully, I should have settled down reasonably. That the school will be sorted, a lot of things will be sorted, then things will become a bit easier for me. Even though I'm still trying to find my footing. Okay, I'll share the video in the YouTube, hopefully, then everyone can just listen to it. Like I said, a quick recap. I said why we need to be emotional intelligence. What it means to be emotional intelligence, I said it simply means for us to understand our emotions and be able to manage it appropriately, not just our emotions, also understand other people's emotions, because when you understand people's emotions, it's easy for you to actually cut them some slack. One of the things that, yes, be empathize with them. One of the things that I realize is my husband will always say, I like to give people excuses. I like to give excuses for people. One of the things that I have realized is that things are not always as they seem. Things are not, for very many people, things are not always as they seem. So, like I refer to the trendy topic on Facebook. I went on Facebook today. I saw a girl. I saw something. I didn't know her before. Proud to you today. Jenny's Glow or something. She's into skincare, and the issue is that her offices in Abuja and Lagos, I think she's a big girl doing creams and all of that. Her offices have been shut down. So what happened was a client gave a bad review, and then she went ahead to arrest the girl who gave a bad review, and that was what happened. So now looking at it, the girl, if she was able to like put herself in the girl's shoes, I understand the fact that, okay, she was upset that somebody made a bad review. But look at it, for example. And these people, they sell their product very expensive. This girl may have saved up her money because of all the things and people say about your product, or because you are saying she actually bought, and she had acne, showed her face, she had so much acne, and she used your product and it was a waste of money. So you don't expect her to be happy about that. You know, if she was someone with emotional intelligence or someone with a bit of empathy, all she needed to have done was to have reached out to the girl. No, let's do this thing behind door. Maybe something went wrong somewhere. You can come, we can test your skin, correct your skin, and see what happens. And then after a while, if the girl gets her, should I say, redemption, or she gets her skin repaired, this same girl comes back to sell your product for you, because this time around she will not be coming back to give them bad reviews. She'll be coming back to tell people, oh, maybe she didn't use the product well. Now that's why it's good to follow instructions. You understand? But she didn't do that. Instead, she went ahead to arrest the girl, and the girl's sister cried out, and people stepped in. They've closed down her offices, and they said her products don't even have NAFDAC number. Now, this is what we are talking about. Emotional intelligence. When you understand emotions, when you know that, okay, I've been there before. If this thing happens to me, this is how I feel. You will also know that someone that is reacting, someone that is feeling the way they are feeling, these people have valid reasons to be feeling the way they are feeling. So when it comes to parenting, now we are referring to our children, we are referring to our children. If we know that, like I said, we just moved into a place and it's difficult for me as an adult. It's difficult for me, let alone my young children, even though they are excited about the whole thing, but I know that it is difficult for them. They also have been asking me, Mommy, can I call my friends? Can I show my friend my room? Can I show my friend this? Can I talk to my friend? Can I tell them how, when we were driving from Lagos to Delta State, how long and all of that? They have been asking that. I promised them, okay, on Saturday, because I know that your friends' parents may be busy. So on Saturday, when everyone is kind of less busy, you all do your video calls or whatever you want to call. I even told my daughter, don't worry, you are going to ask she has even sent it to her friend's mom, that can we have a chat time? Just help us with the time, maybe 30 minutes in a week, once a week, or even 15 minutes once a week. Any of the days you want, my friend and I can just chat and all of that. The woman is here to reply. I know it is overwhelming for them. So now they are cranky, they are rivalry, they are just doing all sorts of things that are annoying to me. But I know that it is not like they actually want to do it. The way I am feeling overwhelmed by the whole thing is the same way they are feeling overwhelmed. That's emotional intelligence. The same way they are feeling overwhelmed. So I don't expect them to even me that is an adult, I'm still not being able to hold myself back. I'm still snapping, I'm still ignoring in the face of everything. I don't expect them to just hold it all together too. I expect them to also at some point break down because of the whole thing. So this is it. So if you understand our emotions, you understand what happens to what happens to how certain things impact our emotions. We also realize that these certain things can also impact children's emotions, and we are able to cut them some slack. It will help us to be more tolerant towards them, because this is all about. It's all about, yes, that's parenting. That's where the hard work is. Being able to tolerate children's SSCs, or what we call misbehaviors and things like that. Being able to tolerate that, being able to accommodate them the way they are. So, like I said again that it's one thing to actually understand your emotions. It's another thing to understand what is happening. For example, in a group, someone said as if she was wrong to be demanding tidiness from her children, that she's always cleaning, the house is always untidy, 6 years old and 2 years old. And I responded that using your word, it is wrong. That is one thing. So it's another thing for you to say, okay, I'm in control of my emotions. Another thing for you to actually have your expectations realistic, because if your expectations are not realistic, you just realize that you're going to be pressured. And at some point, you may want to flip, or you may want to ignore, like I've been doing lately, like I was doing lately before I got the wake-up call. So that is it. Your expectations have to be realistic. So you need to understand, okay, what is proper? What is age appropriate for children? What is normal? So, and again, another thing we will look at is where our inclination towards emotional unintelligence, where does it come from? So, like I said, we are going to be looking at it coming from temperament, coming from the way we were raised, environment, things that have been programmed in us already. For example, somebody was saying that they never played. Growing up, they never played. Oh, their parents never allowed them to play. So because of that, she was not tolerant to her children's playing. I just smiled and I said, this definitely was me. I remember back then growing up, my father, like this, everybody in my community knew him, and they used to call him Ogedeman. And his favorite beating was with his knuckles like this. My daddy will give you this kind knock on your head, like your head will almost open. You know, it was so painful. So everybody was literally scared, both biological children and people in the neighborhood, you know. And because of that strictness of our dad, because they knew we're scared of our dad, people were regularly there to take advantage of us. I remember I've shared a story. I shared it in my book, Understanding Your Child, how a boy just slapped me, said I should date him. I said no, he slapped me because he knew I wasn't going to tell my dad. Even though they knew my dad was strict, everybody was kind of afraid of my dad. But they knew that even that strictness also applied to his children. So I wasn't going to tell my dad about it. That was why he had the guts to actually slap me, because I did not date him. So we need to understand. So I was talking about the woman who said she doesn't play and she wasn't allowed to play. I said, yes, that was the same thing. When my kids were much younger, play was triggering to me. When they start running about the living room, jumping up and down, giggling, I was wondering, what are people laughing about? Sit down, all of that. It was always triggering me. Until one day I looked around, I looked at myself and I said, no. A lot of the things my parents did ignorantly, I don't want to repeat them on my children. I do not want to. So I deliberately made a sheet, which one of the sheets we use here in the emotions intelligence class. I deliberately made the sheet and said, all the things that my parents did that impacted on me negatively, I would deliberately not repeat anyone. That was what happened, and that's why I allowed my that was the redemption I got. And I started allowing my children to play. Today they can play. Like today, there's a portion of land I have at the back I want to use as farm. It's small. They were there just playing, dirtying themselves. I'm just wondering, by the time you just rub yourself, even my 11-year-old, by the time you just dirty yourself so much, these clothes become so, washing them, the ones who were coming, they are almost spots. Now, by the time you rub yourself here, these clothes become so unpresentable. So I just told myself, anyways, you manage it like that. When you start outgrowing all these things, you need to you learn to take good care of yourself. You know, that is it. So we need to understand some of the things. Our temperament can be a major influence. Like this book we are reading, Raising. I don't remember the name. This book we are reading, The man is talking about children having Adamic sins, children born in sin and all of that. If you ask me, that's basically temperament. We are born, it's not, we are born, and no one is born empty. No one is born empty. It's just that children are born without experiences. That is it, but not completely empty. We have that temperament in us, that kind of temperament in us that is kind of like I always say, if you allow them to flourish, they are just going to flourish negatively. They are just going to be so negative. Like I referred to my auntie several times that just passed. She was choleric, and she was so extreme in her choleric. You know, she was so extreme in her choleric. And when she passed, like before she passed, when she became old, everybody that used to benefit from her, everybody that was enjoying her protection, because cholerics can be very desperate. So if they don't if they can't get you to be on their side, they will use their material things and everything. So my auntie literally used her material things to get people to her side. Everybody that enjoyed that, when she was old and she was weak, they did not care. They started calling her, how was too much, how was too much. And really, what happened when you were enjoying those things? And she just passed. So that is aligned. If we allow our children to, or rather, if we have temperaments that are not checked, they can actually come in the way of our emotions. Then the way we are raised, I just talked about that, can also come in the way of our emotions. Then stress can also come in the way of our emotions. Then lack of knowledge, not knowing what is appropriate, not knowing what is normal, can also come in the way of our emotions. Now, these are the things we are going to be looking at, and we actually look at not just how they come in the way of our emotions. We're also going to look at what we can do to balance it, despite having them as weaknesses, what we can do. I remember I was invited to a class to talk on parenting, coming from the angle of temperament. And the next, it was a seminar, it was a conference, online conference. The next speaker also came to talk about, childhood trauma, how it impacts on parenting decisions. And someone asked a question that the host got back to me, that she said she wished I was actually there to answer that question. The woman said she was a perfectionist. And so she knew she was a perfectionist. And so she doesn't know how to help herself. That is what we call your temperament weaknesses. Imagine a child who is melancholic, who having a child who is a perfectionist, having parents who are perfectionists. It simply means that perfectionism she's going to thrive and blossom, flourish in that perfectionism. Then when she now becomes an adult, it becomes a character defect. It becomes a character defect, which will impact negatively on emotions. I was used to follow one lady on social media. She's a single mom of one. How did she divorce? What led to her divorce? She was pregnant. She was in labor in the house, all alone by herself. She was in labor. Then she wanted to grab the hospital bag to the hospital. So where she put the word, or where the hospital, sorry, when I'm stressed, I tend to stutter a great deal. So I hope that I can actually recover from all the stress I've been going through. So where she hung the hospital bag, I think the husband had a frame there, a picture frame there. So, she was in labor pain. So she brought down the frame, and then she now brought down the bag. So she left the frame on the floor and went with the bag to the hospital. That frame that was not placed on the wall, was what broke them. That frame. I know someone will say it's ridiculous. Someone will say it's the husband is spiritual problem. It's not serious. It's character defects. Maybe unforgiveness. The husband got back, saw the frame on the floor, got to the hospital and was angry. He was demanding explanation from someone who was between life and death, trying to have a baby. He was angry, you know. That was what happened. At some point, I think she got angry and she snapped. I don't know what happened. Let me know after the story. I don't know what happened. At some point, she left her in the hospital. When she was required to sign for a CS, it was her mother-in-law that actually got there to sign. The husband was so angry that he left because the frame was not put where it was supposed to be put. And other things, when she was grabbing her bag, other things, she just kind of maybe scattered the room a little. That was all happened. So at the end of the day, it's character defect. People call it all sorts of manners, maybe spiritual problem, maybe one thing problem, two things problem, but it's character defect. So we are going to look at all those things and how to balance it. So when the woman said, oh, she's a perfectionist parent, how is she going to balance it? What will she do? And all of that. Unfortunately, I was only watching the replay. When the host mentioned me, when she said, I mean, talked to me about it, I now went to watch the replay. I said, oh, if I was there, I definitely know what I would have told the woman. So that is it. That's basically what I've been talking about. And that is what we are going to be doing this month. So I'm done, ma'am. Anyone say listen? I've been talking to myself.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm still here. Well done, ma.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, basically for us, for me in particular, I'm learning to understand myself, and when I'm angry, I try not to.
Network. Don't even give
to
me
rest. I've
yeah.
been on it, and kind of. Hello.
Yeah, I hear you. I can hear you now.
It's like okay. I said basically it's a good one. I'm learning daily to work on my emotions, to know when I'm stressed, so that I don't take it out on my children. And
yes,
it's God has been helping me. I've been keeping to it.
Because it's not their fault, really. It's not their fault. Like
is important. Yes, but it's important we learn to rest. When we rest, some of all this we won't be shouting it.
That is just the truth.
So we must understand our own self too.
Yes.
What makes us angry? When do we tend to get angry? All of those things we need to sit down, look at it, and we go away in helping us in our parenting. Thank you very much for the input, ma.
It is when we understand ourselves, it's important. We'll talk about all of this, understanding your triggers, because one of the strategies I've always used is proactivity. Is to be proactive. That's one of the strategies that has always been very effective for me. I just already, because they are my kids, I already know what to expect. So I already have how to respond to it. So that has been very effective for me. And we have my family constitution that has always come handy.